Hi guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Black Consciousness Movement. So on this channel we talk about our place as Black people in the society. We talk about our Blackhood, our Blackness, just about how do we came into being, like was Black people, or were Black people an afterthought in God's mind, as it was ought to have been? Well, I think you know by now that there's a lot of teachings that went on over the years about us, being less than humans and so on. So you might think, was Black people created as an afterthought? Of course not. You're gonna find out on this channel how nice and good it is to be Black, and what Blackness really means. For example, the term Black is beautiful. Does that refer to your skin color, really? Is that all we're talking about when we say Black is beautiful? You're gonna find out. So on this channel we are teaching mainly about our Blackness, our place in the society with other people, and our role as well, our importance and all that. So before I go into today's episode, which is what does it mean when we say Black is beautiful? I guess you are curious to know that. So let's welcome back for those who has already subscribed, and if you're new on the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and push that notification button so that every single time we upload a new video you can be notified. So let's get started with Black Consciousness Movement. When we say Black is beautiful, we are not comparing that beauty with other races. We are not saying Black is beautiful more than white, Black is beautiful more than brown, Black is beautiful more than yellow. We are just teaching mainly that Black is beautiful. So welcome back to I would call this our very first episode of the Black Consciousness Movement. We had two previous episodes before, but I think those episodes were kind of like generalized. We were talking about things in general. I was throwing phrases and like I was talking about things in general, but obviously I want to actually be able to teach, like on each episode, I want to be able to teach a specific topic, or at least a phrase for that matter. So like right now, for this episode, I'm going to teach about Black is beautiful. So the term Black is beautiful, what is it? Like what does that even mean? How did it came into existence? What does that involve? Is it like really like only like the color of your skin when we talk about Black? Like when we say Black is beautiful, are we talking about the color of your skin is because it's Black, it's beautiful? Is that all we talk about? And of course not. That's not what we talk about. Steve Biko say in one of, and before I actually go further on, the Black Consciousness Movement was inspired by a lot of my heroes going from Winnie Mandela, Malcolm X, the guy who changed his name because he didn't want it to remain with a white, or with a, should I say, with a slave owner name, the colonizer name, and he has to change his name to, like, it's better to be an X than, having to have, a white colonizer name in that sense. So I have had a lot of heroes like Steve Biko and Frantz Fanon, and it's Kakuruka the Mungunda, and yeah, so it's a lot of heroes that I can't even mention here, who inspire me to the movement. But the specific movement, like the Black consciousness movement, was inspired by two people, mainly when it comes to like the consciousness, in that sense of like Black consciousness. And it's Frantz Fanon, who was a Caribbean, Jamaican, I think, I think he was born in France. I'll go much more into details about the heroes. I think in my next episode I'm going to discuss some of the heroes and why they inspire me. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to talk about like the two that inspire the Black consciousness movement itself, in the sense of like that specific term. And the other one is Steve Biko. I think Steve Biko is well known. Steve Bantu Biko is a South African activist who was obviously killed by the apartheid regime in 1977, I think, yeah, in September, yeah. As I said, I'm going to discuss that into more details. But now I just wanted to say, although they inspire the Black consciousness movement in the sense of like those specific phrases, because the thing is, so I was always, like curious about Steve Biko, because I watched his movie called Cry Freedom, and he inspired me a lot, and I wanted to know about this man who was so, he was just very, I think he was so mean. Looking at Steve Biko, I'm like, you know what, if I was born directly in the heat of the apartheid regime, I was definitely not going to be here, because I'm not the Nelson Mandela type per se. I'm definitely a Steve Biko type. And I will have discussions on why white people mostly like heroes like Nelson Mandela as opposed to Steve Biko. There's a reason behind that. I don't think you'll be surprised at what the reasons are, but that's for another, time. But I was inspired by Steve Biko, as I said, about everything, what he stands for. I write what I like. That's one of my favorite books. And it's in one of those books that he shared this, I just want to share with you. Being Black is not a matter of pigmentation. Being Black is a reflection of a mental attitude. Can you see what that means? So it goes back to the word Black is beautiful. It's not really like because your pigmentation is black or whatever. Anyway, but recently, because I'm doing political science, recently I'm doing, in one of my courses that I'm doing colonialism and racism, I got to know about the guy called Frantz Fanon, who's a Caribbean. And as I'm listening and even reading his books and his writings, I'm like, I'm recognizing Steve Biko to a certain level, the way he thinks and so on. I'm like, this is like another Steve Biko, what's going on? So I went to check like Steve Biko, and I realized that Steve Biko was actually younger than Frantz Fanon. And I realized that Steve Biko was actually inspired by Frantz Fanon. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. So I realized that that's two people who obviously lived in different times and so on. So the other one was inspired by the other one. So I realized that's why I was like kind of clicking to what Frantz Fanon was saying, like all his writing and so on. Okay, but coming back to the word or the phrase Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful, honestly, as I share now. It's not really about the color of your skin, although to a certain level, yes, your beautiful skin, we're talking about it, but it's about a lot more than just the color of your skin. It's about it's about our black cultures, our black traditions, about the way we raise our children, why we raise our children the way we raise them. Because remember, I'm living in Canada, so I got to also know how, the Western world raise their kids. And I can tell you right now that we definitely have a lot of things that we do differently completely. And I always say that, to be quite honest, the should I say the African way, or should I say the black? I don't know. The African way of raising children, I think maybe I should say the black way of raising children, since there's a lot of Jamaicans, Caribbeans, and so on in Canada who are obviously not African in the sense of like they were born in Africa, but they are black and they raise their kids almost exactly like we raise our kids. Like it's almost like unbelievable how the culture just go and so on and never die. But I've always said that the black way of raising children and the Western way of raising children are so different, but none of them are perfect. I always say that for me personally, I have a lot of things that I use from my, black side of raising kids, and also from the white side of perspective, because believe me, all of them has a lot of strong loopholes. Like the Western way of raising children is definitely not perfect, just as much as the black way of raising children is definitely not perfect. Because I know how some people say that, oh no, we shout at our kids, we beat our kids, and so on. And maybe the white people are very soft with their kids and so on. But when you look at that, even when you look at, them being too soft and so on, it's hard to find an African child using the F word to their mom or their parents, but you find that very much in white Western, cultures and so on. It's kind of common for a white child to talk the way they want to their parents compared to black children. But at the same time, having said that, I think the reason I'm saying it's good to mix these two, I feel like the Western way also has a lot of good things, like like in where I grow up, you don't talk back to your parents. In fact, you don't have the right to actually say anything back. Like it's almost like children don't have opinions, and I think that's a part that I took from the Western world, to realize that children do have to have opinions. They are just human. They are as human as we parents are. So for me, that part of the Western world is like very good. I have my son, my 13-year-old King David, very opinionated, and I allow him to have an opinion because he's a human. So he has that right to be able to tell me what he doesn't like and what he likes and all that, and also to be able to actually be able to be allowed to have a different opinion from my opinion. I am not that powerful. I'm not God. I'm just a parent trying to navigate the system of being a parent. I can be wrong. I could be wrong, you know. So having said that, you can see that both have like loopholes and so on. So as I said, being black or black is beautiful is not as Steve Biko just, as I just quoted what he said now, it's not a matter of pigmentation. Like it's not about your pigmentation because it's black or whatever. It's a mental attitude. It involves a lot of things. And I have another phrase that I wanted to share, also from obviously Steve Biko. Steve Biko. Okay, so this one is about it says, black consciousness is an attitude of the mind and a way of life, the most positive call to emanate from the black world for a long time. Okay, so as I said, you know, we have different culture, we have different traditions, and I think the reason the reason even for the whole thing of like black is beautiful is that many times in the past, blackness has been associated with bad things. Have you ever heard of the black sheep of the family, the black lie? There is a white lie, but the white lie is a bit better, because a black lie is like, oh my god, now you are lying completely. A white lie is just like kind of an innocent lie. Have you ever heard of the black magic, which is so dangerous, but the white magic is better? There is a lot of things like the word black has been associated with you know, a lot of bad things, and because of that, as black people are coming to their senses of realizing that, you know what, because remember, most of these things have made black to believe that they were made inferior to the white race, which is obviously, now we know that it's nonsensical, right? It's nonsense completely. We are equal, as I said in my previous my previous teaching. So black, in that sense, black people has to find their own way in the society of like, why is this and this. And the thing is, I think I had one of my in my introductory video, there is a place where it says that white is not always white is not always light, and black is not always dark. And I think in my preaching video, there's that example that I use about Miriam when it was when God gave him leprosy, and leprosy is when your whole body turn white. Your whole body turn white, and yet it was a curse. When your body turned white, it was a curse. Miriam was white, and leprosy was when your body turned white. And we know that leprosy was one of those cases where people didn't want anything to do with you. So before you start thinking white is always light, think about Miriam being being given leprosy in the Bible by God himself, and realizing that in that case, whiteness was not that light in that case. So I don't think I wanted to, it feels like we are over our minutes again. Crazy. Come on, girl. Learn to know where to cut your words. Anyway, we come to the end of this teaching, but I think I'm going to talk more about that next week again, because I don't think we are even finished, and I don't even think we have even started. But we're gonna have to cut it in episode, and it has to be strictly 10 minutes. I'm gonna try, guys. I'm gonna try, even if I have to cut some of the videos half and kind of make it go to the next episode, I'm gonna do that. But then it's gonna be the same dressing. Don't get confused, it's still gonna be the same thing, like a different kind of like topic or a continuation, so that you don't have to spend so much time listening to, you know, like one topic. So for now, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and push that notification button so that every time we upload a new video, you are ahead of your game. And yeah, take care, guys.
Isizwe